Okay, so we're solving the cross. These two are done, and we have this one and this one. Now, how would you solve this case? Would you do it like this? Or would you do it like this? Hey everyone, today I'll be talking about one of the more underused techniques for the cross, and that is turning the front with your ring finger. The progression you make with your cross solutions should start with being able to make more efficient cross solutions, so 8 moves or less every time. Then to make those efficient solutions faster, you want to choose the right finger tricks. Today, of course, we're focusing on finger tricks, so if you're not very good at coming up with an efficient solution, maybe this video isn't for you yet, but there are still some interesting ideas that you can try to use. When making the cross, a lot of the moves are very straightforward, like how are you going to turn R or L? Always wrist turns. What about U? Always index finger turns. What about D? Always ring finger. And what about B? Well, you probably shouldn't, but even if you did, you'd regrip for index or you'd regrip for ring finger. For the F layer, there's actually a lot of ways, and I feel like this is why some people neglect the ring finger turn. For F in home grip, you can do index finger either of these or thumb here. And if you're out of home grip this way, then you can use your index finger. But if you're out of home grip this way, then you can use your ring finger. And what I see a lot of people do here if they have to turn F is either use their other thumb or just completely regrip for the F. So the example I showed earlier, the reason why you wouldn't want to do something like this, even though it uses easier finger tricks, you end up with your thumbs here, which is both out of home grip. And to get back into home grip to begin F to L, you can think of it as a double regrip or a cube rotation. If you're facing this side instead, the first move you do is lift up green. And this is the common theme. If you have to lift up this way, your hand will probably be in this grip, which means that you can do ring finger to turn the front. So we use ring finger here and then go back down. Now keep in mind that if you're more advanced with the cross, like what you typically do is predict first pair during inspection, then a lot of it is about keeping options open to see which one is the best in the end. So a good third option here is if you face blue instead and turn that F move into a B move, because it works exactly the same way. You put your hand out of position and then you can get a ring finger turn in for B. And lastly, I just want to say that the way I showed on orange isn't the best. You could do it like this, which makes it only one regrip afterwards. So this is an example where we have 3 options, and which one should you pick? A really good thing about having multiple options is if you have one that faces one side and one that faces the adjacent side, typically you can solve the first F to L pair without a cube rotation. In this case, to solve the blue-red pair, I have to face either orange or red to make it rotationless. So I can face orange, insert it this way, and then solve this one. But if the pair was something like this, then I want to face either green or blue. That way it's a rotationless case. So now I could face this side, use my other option, and then insert this. Now here's one that's so obvious that you might wonder why I'm even showing this in an advanced video. Clearly you just insert blue and you just insert red. But the question here is, what are the best finger tricks? For people who haven't optimized their finger tricks for cross yet, often what they'll do is this, because it's the 2 simplest finger tricks, but again, it leaves you in a bad position. So instead, there are a few better ways. If you face orange, then you can do R prime, B prime. It does leave you with one hand out of home grip, but usually this isn't too bad. You could also face blue and do what I talked about. So ring finger for the F prime, and then R prime. And the reason this is good this time is because after the F move, you're going to come down. So if you did the F move in home grip, this is also a possibility, you would end up out of the home grip. And if you face red, you also have L prime, F prime. So again, with multiple options, if you're predicting first pair, this can help you optimize how you do first pair. So in this case, a good first pair after you insert these two is the orange-green pair. And so if you face blue, that would be the best way to solve this. So then you'd want to do F prime, R prime. Then after that, you can solve this case rotationless. And just another example, if you had this similar case but the edge is flipped, then you'd want to face either orange or red to begin with, and preferably red so that you solve a back slot. So in that case, you have this option, which lets you solve this case rotationless. The examples I just showed were like 2 or 3 move crosses, but this could show up at the end of your cross. So your cross could be longer, like 6 moves, and still end in this, which is why it's good to think of what you can do. But now here's a full cross example where it's actually really good to use this technique. When I see a cross like this, I say that's disgusting and switch to a different cross color, but if you only do white, then here's something you can do. The first thing you can notice that's actually a very common pattern for this technique is this orange-blue right here. If you actually inserted them, then you end up with them in their swapped positions, so that's not good. Instead, you want to move orange in the opposite direction. Now you can insert blue here, like that. since when you move in the opposite direction, your ring finger now can turn the front layer. So to just solve orange and blue, it would look like this. Then continuing this idea, if you just solve orange and blue, you actually push red into a great position where it can be solved right next to blue. That puts green in a bad spot, so we're going to deal with that earlier. So green's already in a great spot, we just don't want this front move pushing it away, so we can just move it into the bottom or into the top or into the back, and the best way to put it is actually in the bottom, and then you can start the whole cross solution thing. So you can do orange and blue, and then insert red, one regrip, and insert green. So now that you've learned a few situations where you can turn the front with your ring finger and have it work out very well, how can you start to use this more in your solves? If you have a situation where you want to do an F move at some point, there could be a lot of the other ways of doing it that may actually be better for the situation. But here's the number one thing that should make you ask if you should use your ring finger for the F move. Is your hand ever in the upwards position here? If it is, then you probably want to use your ring finger for the F move. So go practice your ring finger turning and make your cross solutions even faster. But with so much freedom in the cross, if you want to see some of the logic behind how I pick my finger tricks, then you can check out this cross bootcamp video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.